Hey guys, welcome to this tutorial. My name is Timstead. Today I'm going to be going over part 3 in the Project FPS tutorial series. Now in the last part what we did is we went and added in our player's arms, we also added in all the weapons, and then on top of that to each weapon we added a snap script, and this just basically got the weapon and then snapped it to the empty or our gun spawn right here when it spawned in. So in this tutorial what we're going to be going over is setting up the weapons. So basically instead of our arms just being out the front like this, they're going to be holding on to whichever weapon we have equipped. So if you haven't watched the last part, definitely go ahead and do so, but otherwise we're going to get straight on into it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is go onto layer 2 and I'm going to select my first weapon here, so my primary. I'm also going to press C to bring up a circle selection, and I'll select all the extra parts as well. Then I'm going to press M and move it to layer 1, so just that one primary weapon. Then I'm going to go to layer 1 just with 1 on the keyboard, and then what I'm going to do is go over here to my rig, and then I'm going to select it, go down here to pose mode, and then what I'm going to do is select my gun bone here, and I'm going to press Alt R and Alt G to get rid of any rotation or location movement. Then what I'm going to do is go back to object mode, select my gun spawn here, and then do Shift S and cursor to selected. Then I'm going to get my gun, or just select my gun, then Shift S selection to cursor. So that will jump there, and that's what it's going to look like when we spawn it in. So what I might do is we might need to scale the weapon a little bit just so it fits relatively with the hand a bit better. So I'm just going to quickly grab it here, and I'll just rotate his hand and bring it back just so we can sort of get a good outline. So roughly something like that. Okay, and what you basically want to do is have this part in here, you just want his hand to fit in, you don't want it to be huge, so you want a reasonable size. If your weapon is a bit large, just scale it down a bit like so until it fits. What you want to make sure you have right is the scale before you start adding in these animations, because otherwise you have to change the animations, because if you scale the weapon then all the animations will be off. So make sure you have the scale sorted out. Then what we're going to do is go back into pose mode here, and to our rig, before we do anything else, I'm going to go along to the dope sheet here, so this one right here, and then I'm going to scroll along here, go to the action editor and keep scrolling, and then I might go to object mode for this one. And then what I'm going to do is over here add an action, and so I'm just going to click new. It's just going to be called action, and we're going to rename this to M24 and then underscore change, as in we're changing the gun M24. Then over here I'm going to click this F. This just like double checks that the animation is saved, just to make sure we don't lose it. So I think it saves it twice or something. Okay, so that is that one done. Now what we want to do is we want to line up our arms with the weapon so it looks like our player is holding the weapon. So to do that, back into pose mode, and I might go into solid view actually to make this a bit easier to see. Okay, so I'm going to press RX and rotate it a bit, GX, and we want his hand gripping around. So also what I might do is if we press numpad 0, you can see in the camera view it's all the way over here. So I might select this, hold down shift and select the bone for moving the hand, and if we move it, you can see the gun doesn't move, so we've actually forgotten to parent the gun. So back to object mode, select the gun here, hold down shift and select the gun spawn and control P and parent. Okay, so back into pose mode over here, then numpad 0, and we'll select both of those bones and just move them over to the side there. Okay, so that's looking a bit better. Now what I'm going to do is readjust it so his hand is holding the gun. So I guess we're going to have to rotate this one in, RX, and we should probably bring his hand in. So something like that, nice and close. Move it forward a bit, maybe up, and we want his finger here to be resting on the trigger. So if we just move it up slightly, yep, we still need to move it forward, so not too far, just somewhere like that. Okay, and then over here we want his finger resting on the trigger, so I'm going to press RZ, rotate it on the Z axis, and just have it somewhere like that. I might also press RY, bring it down a bit, and then rotate it further. Okay, so we have one finger done. Then the next one, I'm going to select this bone and press RZ, and that should curl around automatically, and that is looking pretty nice. I might press RX, move it up slightly. Next one, RZ, and we'll curl around this way. RX, move it up slightly, and as you can see it's cutting in a bit here, so move it to the right angle and then just select the next bone. Okay, then this last one here, RZ, and rotate it around, RX, move it up a bit, and we don't want any of this cutting here, which you can see, so rotate it out, rotate the next bone, and there you go. If it makes it easier to see, you can go to texture mode, so you can sort of see what I mean with the cutting in and out. But yeah, so I think that is good. Now we'll get the thumb sorted out. So this one right here, RX, and then RY, and RX again because it's at a weird angle, RY, and I reckon something like that should be good. I'm going to move this one up, RX, which also means we have to spin this one out a bit more. Okay, so I think that is looking good. Now what I'm going to do is set up this hand here, so RX, move this along here, and then you'll notice if we want to move it further forward, it's not working. So back here, these shoulders, we need to turn as well, so we'll turn that one forward, and get a good angle like that. Also, these extra bones on the side control the elbows here. So if we move them down, then you can sort of see what you can do with the angle. So if it's doing anything weird, you can adjust that. Okay, I might actually select this here, player collision, and we'll just press H to hide it, just for now. Okay, so I'm going to select this bone again, make sure it's the moving one because the other one here doesn't move. So select the moving one, then move it down, GY, RX, GZ, and RY, spin it around a bit, GZ, and we'll bring it in, GY, maybe we'll give it a bit more room like that. Compress knobhead 0 to see what it's going to look like. So something like that. What I might do is try and get this going, although I don't think it does much, so I guess we'll just spin the shoulder forward again, because I think we need almost that arm bend there. So move this forward. Okay, that's looking fine. Now we want to get his palm holding the grip here, so want to get it just like that roughly. Okay, then this one here, RZ, rotate it on the Z axis, RX, and as you can see it's clipping into the weapon, so RZ, move it out a bit until it's very minimal, and then we'll spin around the rest of it like so. And as you can see, it's looking sort of strange, so what we might do is actually select this bone, spin it out a bit, and it looks like we might need to bring his hand back a bit just to sort of make that work a bit better. Okay, so something like that should be fine. Next one, RZ, spin it around. That one worked quite nicely. Next one, RZ, and the clipping here is a bit worse, so we're going to have to select the second bone and just finish it off. Last one, clipping's really bad, so select these other bones and spin them around. Okay, so I might also get this one here, RY, move them up, both of them, and yep, spin that one around a bit more. Okay, so I think that should be most of it done. Maybe if we can push this one out a bit more, that's possible. Okay, so I think he has a good grip on that. Now the thumb seems to be more pretty accurate, but it's not really gripping. So what we need to do is press RX and move it around like this, and it almost needs to be holding in on that. So RX over here, this one over here, RZ, and RY over here, and then RX. Okay, RY, there we go, and RZ. Right, so what we might do is press RX, spin this one down a bit, and the top of this one here is looking a bit nuts, so RY and RZ. Okay, but I think something like that should be fine, considering if we go into front view here, player can't even see them. So what we need to do now is we're going to select everything, so A in pose mode, so all the bones are selected. Then we're going to make a new window down here. It's going to be timeline, and we're going to go along to frame 0. Then down here I'm going to select record and choose location rotation. Then also check the key, so we're using this one right here. Then what I'm going to do is press I in this window, and it will add keyframes for each bone. Then we'll go along to frame 10, and now what we want to do is have the player put the gun down, so out of the player's vision. So now we'll press numpad 1 to go into side view, and here I'm going to select my weapon bone. Then I'm going to select my moving bone here and my other moving bone, so these two. And then what I want to do is press R to rotate them down as if a player is putting the gun down, and then move it underneath the player's view, so over here roughly. Okay, and then as you can see, the shoulder here is doing something crazy, so what we might do as well is select the shoulder and press RZ and move that backwards. Okay, and the elbow here is doing some weird stuff, so we'll tweak that as well. GY, okay, move it down a bit, and then this one over here we might move down as well. Okay, so that will have automatically, with that record button on, that will have added in our keyframes right now. So if we go back to frame 0, you can see what it's sort of going to look like. Now also one more thing we need to do is make sure that the front of the gun is facing roughly into the middle of the screen, because that's where we're going to be firing the bullets to. So to do that, I'm going to go back into pose mode here. If I can select the rig, that'd be a good start. Okay, back into pose mode, and then I'm going to press numpad 0. I'm going to select the moving bone here, select the other moving bone here, and then hold down shift again and select the gun bone. So I'm going to press RZ, and we just want to sort of get it so the barrel here is facing the middle of the screen. So maybe RY, move it up a bit, since that's where we'll be firing from, and then RZ, and then we'll bring it back into the corner here so it's not using up too much screen space. Okay, RY, maybe that's a bit better. Okay, and I think something like that should be good, just so it's facing into the middle there. Right, so once that's done, we need to turn on the record again, A to deselect, A to select everything, and then I, and that will insert all our keyframes. So with this new pose, then we'll turn off record, go back to object mode, select our gun here, and then we'll press Alt P to clear the parent. Click that, and then we'll move it forward. Go to wireframe by pressing Z, or just down here. Then we'll press C and select all the parts. You can also press B to box select, and then we'll press M and move it to layer 2. So that was that weapon done. Now what we'll do is select our rig here, and we'll make a new action. That will change the name to .001, and we'll rename this Glock_change. Or you can call it pistol_change, as that will be the next weapon that we're going to be doing. Then also the F here, click that, and then what we're going to do is delete all these keyframes here. So X and delete, then by default it will remove your animation, so you have to select it again. And yep, that should be fine. So now back to layer 2, just by pressing, just selecting down here. Then we'll get our Glock. Now you have to make sure this is a good size as well, basically just so the player's hand fits in it well, as you can see here. But yeah, you don't want it to be something like this, that's a bit too big, and you just want it to fit realistically within the player's hands. So I'm going to press C, select all the parts, M, and move to layer 1. So once we are in layer 1, I'm going to do the same thing we did before. So select the bones here, go to pose mode, select the gun bone, press Alt R to get rid of the rotation. Then I'm going to go back to object mode. I'm going to select my gun spawn here, and then I'm going to press Shift S, cursor to selected, select the main body of my Glock or my pistol. Then I'm going to press Shift S and selection to cursor. So our player is now holding it. Now if we press numpad 0, it's under the screen at the moment, which is strange. Anyway, what we'll do is go into pose mode and fix all that. But before we do that, we have to parent our gun. So select this gun here, and then we'll hold down Shift, select the gun spawn, and press Ctrl P and parent. So now if we move the gun spawn, the gun moves. Right, so select the rig here, go to pose mode, we'll select our gun bone, then we'll hold down Shift and also select the moving parts, numpad 0 again, and we'll move it up here roughly. Okay, again this one's probably further out, maybe somewhere like that. Just get a good angle, can go to textured if it looks a bit easier. But before we do anything else, I'll just set it up the almost animation. So we'll move this arm here for now, and this one here, you can move down here, RY, rotate it on the Y-axis, move it up, and we just want the hand resting on the trigger, like we had before, so something like that looks good. Hopefully there's not too much clipping here, but that seems to be looking fine. So RZ, and move it in, and GX, I think it is, yep, and then GY, RZ, GY, okay, and then this one on here, RZ, Z, somewhere around here. Okay, and I think, oh, now this finger's gone, so we need to rotate that out, like that, Y, I think, yep. Then get the other parts here, and we'll rotate them inwards a bit, and we might need to push this part out, like that, and then just rotate them around. Okay, so this one all the way around here, then I'm going to press RY just to bring it level, and then we might need to do the same for the second one here. So RZ, and then RY, and RX down here, RZ, and then this one here as well. Again, we might need to rotate the bone here, rotate that out a bit so this fits well. Okay, we'll do that for this bottom bone as well, just to see if that sorts out the issue. Okay, and I think we'll just put these last parts in. But apart from that, I think that is a good pose. Now we'll move this over here and move it across, move this down, and actually what we want to do is press C to select. We'll select all these bones and press Alt R to get rid of the rotation, then RZ, move it around like this, RX. Okay, maybe we'll move the shoulder back, and now what we'll do, RY, GY, and we'll just move it in like so, GX, and basically what we want is this finger here to be along the barrel. So I'm going to move it up and move this one across like that, this one along here, move it up a bit, and then we'll get the finger in the right spot. So RZ. Okay, and then we'll tweak this again and move it up a bit. And what we don't want to do is have anything touching the top part, because that's obviously moving backwards and forwards. So we might need to just tweak it a little bit. Nope, wrong one. GX, move it back, GY. Okay, and so we can get like that middle part there. We might need to rotate these in now. So RX, RX, then RZ. Alright, so now what we're going to do is select this part, press RZ, and then press RX, move it down, and there we go. Okay, select this part, and then RX, move it down here. Okay, and I think might need to just move it up slightly and move it across like that, and then yep, that should be good. It's lots and lots of tweaking this part, so I guess just lots of backwards and forwards. Hopefully it's not too boring to watch, but yeah, something that needs to be done either way. So I'm going to move this last bone here. That's probably going to be underneath, so underneath here. Also going to select these other two bones and rotate them down as well. Okay, so RY, and yep, all the way down here. Then we'll rotate them, so this part, rotate them in. And if you notice now, they might be, or at least where they're gripping, they might slightly be inside each other. That doesn't exactly matter, just as long as it's not obvious. Most of the time, again, the player won't really be seeing it, as that will be in the front. So what we might do here, move this around. Okay, something like that. Alright, and then RY. This clipping here is being annoying. Maybe might need to rotate that in a bit and move this one out. Okay, and then we'll do the last finger here. So select this, RX, then I guess actually that pose is probably fine. We'll just rotate this part in, and I think that should be it. So that was the clock done. That's probably the most tedious one. So anyway, select all the bones just with A. Then we're going to select record down here, press I to add in our first keyframes. Then we'll go to frame 10, press numpad 1 to go into side view, and then we're going to select this one here, and select this one here, and then also select the gun bone. So select this one, hold down shift, oh not that one, select this one as well, hold down shift again, and so you have all three selected. Then on frame 10 we're going to press R to rotate, move it down, and we'll move it down underneath the player's view. Okay, so somehow that, if we press numpad 0, you can see the player can't see it, which is good. Now everything's gone nuts again, so we'll have to change these elbow bones so they aren't doing anything crazy. Then this side as well. Okay, and apart from that though, I think that is looking fine. So now we can scroll along and that should work. If your one didn't work at this point, make sure you have record selected again, and then just sort of reset these frames here. Okay, so that is the Glock change done. Now we've just got the 2 grenades and the knife left. So before we do that though, numpad 0, and we need to get this gun lined up to the top of the screen. So what I'm going to do is select both of the movable parts, hold down shift, select the gun spawn, make sure I'm on frame 0 down here, then I'm going to press RY, and I'm going to move it up, move it down, and maybe we want to move it forward a bit, and so we'll move his shoulders forward a little bit as well. Okay, so select the moving parts again, hold down shift, select the gun, and then we'll just set this up so it's facing towards the middle and it's at the right side of the screen. You can do it on the left side if you like. In the center probably isn't a good idea unless you're aiming down the sight, but yeah, so I'm going to move this up slightly and we want it facing just about there, so maybe down a little bit, but something like that should be fine. Okay, so then once we're done with that, what we're going to do is select everything, and actually because we have record on, that should have added in some keyframes, but just in case we can press I and that will add in our keyframes, sort of overwrite just in case. Then what we can do is go back to object mode here, we can select our gun body, so this one right here, turn off record, otherwise we'll get weird animations added. Then I'm going to press Alt P to get rid of the parent, and then I'll move it over here, Z to go into wireframe, C to select all of this, then right click to go out of selection mode, then press M and move it to layer 2. Alright, go over to layer 2, and now what we're going to do is select this grenade here, so M and move to layer 1, and also select the pin and move that to layer 1. Then I'm going to go to layer 1, you can just select it down here or use the numbers along the top of your keyboard. Alright, and then what we're going to do here is make sure that's all parented. Then I'm going to select my rig, add a new action, again I'm going to call this grenade underscore change. Then I'm going to add the F here to double save it, and then in this window I'm going to press X and delete the keyframes. Then we'll have to select our action here again, and that should be it. So now over to pose mode, select the gun bone here, so this one with the gun spawn, and then I'm going to press Alt R, get rid of the rotation so it's just facing straight forward. Then I'm going to go to object mode, and then we'll select the gun spawn, Shift S, cursor to selected, then select the main body of the grenade, Shift S and selection to cursor. Okay, then what we want to do is hold down Shift and parent it to the gun spawn. Alright, so numpad 0, and that's looking a little bit strange, but not to worry, we'll sort that out. So into pose mode here, and then what we're going to do is move this hand over here and start sorting it out. So what I might do for my grenades and my knife is have the left hand over here in a fist, and then this hand over here just holding the grenade. So to do that, we're going to move this hand forward, move it roughly somewhere around here, numpad 0, move it up, and then what we're going to do is we'll go to texture view so it's a bit easier to see. Basically what we want is we'll get rid of the rotation here, so B to box select and just select all the parts here. Don't need this one, just these top view. Also you can press B and hold down the scroll wheel to deselect, if you didn't already know that. Anyway, we're going to select all of this, then Alt R, get rid of the rotation, then we'll select the moving bone here. I think this one, nope, that's the elbow, so this one right here, and then RZ, rotate it and move it forward. Okay, something like that. Then I'm going to press RX and 90, oh no, RX and 90, right, and then RY and numpad 0, and we would just sort of want this in the bottom of the screen over here, so I'm going to move my hand down here and then RZ to rotate it, move it along here, select this top one, Alt R, oh not Alt R, RZ, and we just sort of want these fingers clamped around like so. Okay, RY, and then RX, and we'll move this one up, RY, okay, and then this one RZ, move it round-ish, something like that. Okay, and yeah, that should be fine. Last one here, RZ, spin it around, RZ, and RZ for the last one. Okay, and there we go. Numpad 0, and this top and bottom one's looking a bit strange. So we might just rotate that in, do the same with the other ones. You don't want to get any clipping here though, so sort of going to have to be careful with that. Then I'm going to press RX and just move it down like that. Okay, so that is fine for me. This bottom finger, I have no idea what it's doing, so I'm going to press RX. Actually, RY is probably a better idea. RZ, rotate it out, and then RY and RX. Okay, so I think that's looking a little better. RY and RY. Okay, so numpad 0, and then select this here, RZ, and then RX, and we sort of want it at a rotated angle, so sort of somewhere in like that. Okay, RY, and just in the corner of the screen, like that. Then over here, RX, and we'll just have our player holding the grenade. So what we're going to do is move it over here, move it over here, select the bone for the grenade, and then RX to rotate it, and GX, and then GZ, and we want it within our player's grip, so somewhere like that. You have to watch the top pin here, but yeah. Okay, now I think I'll start tweaking the hand, so move it back a bit, then get the top finger sorted. So before we do that, we might move this down a bit. Yep, something like that. Then select the hand here, move it up, and the finger here will get sorted out, so move that down, RX, oh not that one, RX, okay, and that looks like a good grip. This one, RZ, rotate it outwards, maybe RY, and RY here, and RZ over here, and something like that. Then this one, RY, then this one RZ, then this one RY, and this one RZ, RY. Okay, so we will sort that all out. Alright, so that is all of that done. Now we might get the thumb finished, so RX and RZ. Alright, no, that's looking a little strange. Maybe RX and spin around a bit. Okay, I think that looks like a good position, just holding it like that. Now that is, we might select this moving bone, select the gun spawn, and then we might rotate it slightly, not much. We might bring it up as well. Okay, so that is the grenade done. Now what we need to do is select all the bones again. I to insert a keyframe, go to frame 10, and now we want our player putting it down. Numpad 1, go into side view, select we'll record down here, and then select the moving parts, hold down shift, select the gun spawn, R to rotate, move it down out of the player's view, something like that. And then what we're going to do is sort out these elbows, move them back. Alright, and something like that should be fine, so we can scroll along, and that looks good. So that is normal grenade done. We can select the, well, go over to object mode, then select the grenade, press Alt P, get rid of the parent, move it over here. Oh, don't move it over there. Control Z, Control Z. Turn off record, otherwise it'll add animations for you moving it. And then what we're going to do is press Alt P, clear parent, and then move it over here. So make sure record is off. Then we're going to press Z, select all the parts including the pin, M, and move to layer 2. Then on layer 2 we can deselect that, and we'll select our smoke grenade along with the pin. So select both of those, and then we're going to press M and move to layer 1. Alright, nice and repetitive again, which I'm sure is great fun to watch. Anyway, along here we're going to add a new animation. We'll call it smoke underscore change. Select the F, and then what we're going to do is go over into pose mode, and select the gun bone here, Alt R to get rid of the rotation. Then we'll go back to object mode and select the, well, the gun spawn, Shift S, cursor to selected, then here select the main body of the smoke grenade, and Shift S, selection to cursor. Hold down Shift, select the gun spawn, Control P, and parent. Then I'm going to press numpad 0, go into the camera view, and then we'll go over, select our rig here, go over to pose mode, I guess textured, so we can see what we're doing, numpad 0, and now what we're going to do is slightly tweak this pose to fit with the smoke. So I'm going to press RX just to get the rotation right, but then you'll notice that the pin is on the wrong side here. So what we want to do is, like with the grenade, we want the pin to be facing the other hand so it's easy to pull out. So I'm going to press numpad 0 and actually just move out the front here. Then I'm going to press RZ and rotate around this bone, this gun bone, and then RX, and we'll just move it something like that. Alright, so yep, that looks good. Maybe in here a bit more. Then GY, GZ, and that's probably the most we can do without touching the player rig. Okay, maybe forward a bit more. So RY, GX. Alright, and that should be fine. Numpad 0, and maybe GZ, and then Z again, and we can just move it down in the hand a bit. Okay, so now we'll move on to the actual hand here. First thing we're going to fix is moving this out, Same for this bone, maybe, slightly. RY, move it up. RZ, have it sort of clawing in. This one, we might need to turn in like that, and then the main bone here will sort of spin out, if we can do that. Alright, so RZ, RZ, and maybe just something like that we'll have to do. Yeah, so we'll rotate this one out. Okay, so that top bone done. Whoops, I think it's looking a bit strange, so RX, and we'll spin it down a bit. RZ, RY, move it in. Okay, and somehow that is fine. This one here, RY, yep, RZ, rotate it in, RZ, and then RX, and RZ. Alright, so what we're gonna do now, RX, move it across here, get that one done, RY, then select this one, nope, that bone, RZ, and move that across, and the last one here, RX, then RY, and there we go. So I think that is a good pose. Numpad 0 to check if it worked, and that is looking fine. Alright, so I think somehow that should be good. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all the bones. I'm going to press I to insert lots of keyframes. Going to select record, go to frame 10, and I'm actually going to remove frame 10 because that has the old animation. So I'm going to move it down to frame 10 again, numpad 1, and then we'll select the moving parts of the hand. So these parts here, hold down shift, gun spawn, R to rotate, move it down here, and just out of the player's view. Sort out these shoulders, we'll bring them back, and somehow that should be fine. So that automatic or record should have added in our keyframes here. So now what we can do is go back to object mode, or you can just scroll along to make sure it's done it right, just like that. Okay, and then I'm happy with that, so back to object mode, and I'm going to select the smoke grenade. Oh, here we go, Alt P and clear parent. Then what I'm going to do is move it out. Oh, nope, I'm not going to move it. I'm just going to press Ctrl Z 2 times, turn off record, I keep forgetting, Alt P, clear parent, move it over here, and then what we're going to do is Z to go into wireframe, select both parts, M, and move to layer 2. Go over to layer 2, select the knife, M, move to layer 1, go to layer 1, select the rig, give it a new animation, call this one knife underscore change, delete the keyframes here, select knife change again, select the F as well, so we're saving it twice, and then what we're going to do is go over here, pose mode, select this gun spawn bone, Alt R, get rid of the rotation, and yep, so here, Shift S, goes to selected, select the knife, Shift S, selection to cursor, and then what we're going to do is select the knife and hold down Shift, select the gun spawn, Control P, and parent. There we go, all moves as one. Now we'll select our rig and go into pose mode if you aren't already. Then I'm going to move it down here. I'm going to press RX and I'm going to move it closer to the player. GY, GX, and then I'm going to press numpad 0, move it in, something like that. Go to textured, and then RX. So again, that angle is a bit abrupt, so I might have it something like that. Then RZ, and I might have it facing in that direction, something like that. Alright, so now what we're going to do is get the hand to hold on to this. So numpad 0, RY, and move it down, GZ, GY, and then this one RZ, and yeah, something like that, RZ. Okay, and this one here, RZ to move around, RZ to move this one around, and then what we're going to do is press RX, oh no, RY, and we'll just try to get it to hold on properly without looking too strange. RX seems to be the right one. I might, yeah, move this one down, RY, and then tweak the rest of it. Okay, well, I'm not sure what the rotations are doing at the moment. I might press RY and then Y again to do the local axes and just sort out the rotation. Okay, that's looking a bit better. Yep, I think the thumb should actually be on top, so I'm going to select this bone here, RY, move it down, select this bone here, RX, and move this up. Next one as well, RX, and then RY, RZ, and we'll just have it sort of on the front there. Okay, so we'll do the last few fingers. So this one, RY, and the last one here, RZ, then RY. Alright, RX, and yep, somehow that should be fine. Numpad 0. Guess our player can sort of see this though, so you have to be, oh, I'm not sure what my camera's doing. Okay, the player can see this, so you have to be a bit more careful how you place everything. Yeah, lots more tweaking, I guess. We'll move this down, move this one down here, Y, X maybe, okay, then these bones over here, maybe we'll move them in, okay, something like that, Y, move them down, RZ, RX, and maybe out a bit. Again, lots and lots of tweaking, but not really something you can avoid. The more effort you put in here, the least noticeable it is. I mean, if you do a really bad job here, you'll be able to see parts going inside each other, and yeah, well, the player won't exactly be very pleased with that. Probably start complaining. So the more effort you put in here, the better off. Again, also depends how much time you have. So, I think that pose should be fine, for me at least. If you want to, go ahead and put some more effort in. I'm not very good when it comes to effort and tutorials, but yeah, I'm just trying to get everything done as fast as possible. So, I'm happy with all of that. I'm going to move out, A to deselect, A to select everything, choose record, make sure you're in knife change, and then I. And then we'll go along to frame 10, numpad 1, select these moving select the moving bones by holding down shift, and then we'll select this one as well. R to rotate, move it down, and just out of the player's view again. Okay, sort out the shoulders, or the elbows I should say, and something like that should be fine. So now what we're going to do is make sure nothing weird with that. And press numpad 0 just to double check. Okay, and that looks fine. So now what I might do is move out here, go back to pose mode, and then I'm going to select my knife, Alt P, get rid of the parent, and then I'm going to press GX. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to turn off record, And if you have by accident pressed GX already and it's on record and you can see it in the top right hand corner, you can right click to cancel the movement. But anyway, move it over here, then Z, and I'm going to press M, move it to layer 2. Okay, so now what we should have is our different animations here. So we have this one here, we have the Glock, grenade, the smoke, and the knife. So, I think that will probably be it for this tutorial, just doing all of this stuff because it's so you have to tweak so much and it's so tedious, takes up a lot of time. But anyway, hope this wasn't too long to watch. Also, hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. If you did, be sure to leave a like, comment, or share. All of that stuff is greatly appreciated. And also, if you want to, be sure to subscribe for more videos. Otherwise, that's it from me. Have an awesome week, and I'll see you guys in the next video.